This evening, villagers apprehend suspected child molester. Interreligious organization kicks off Harmony Week. UN representative calls for coalition government to obey the law. In the region, in St. Lucia, did police officers use excessive force trying to catch a suspect? And internationally, multi-million-dollar fentanyl bust made at the US-Mexico border. Greetings to our viewers in Guyana and around the world. Today is Friday, February the 1st, 2019, and this edition of Headline News is now being streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for joining us. On Friday, opposition leader Brad Jagdeo announced that opposition chief whip Gail Teixeira is prepared to give up her Canadian citizenship in order to continue to function as a member of parliament. This follows Chief Justice Roxanne George Wilshire's ruling upholding the Constitution, saying that someone who holds dual citizenship cannot be elected to the National Assembly. The ruling has implications for the continued presence of all members of parliament who have dual citizenship. Villagers on the west bank of Demerara reportedly freed several boys from a suspected child molester. Bibi Bacchus tells us more in this report.
On Thursday, residents of a village on the west bank of Demerara were outraged after a suspected child molester was caught with 4 minors at his home. According to reports, the angered villagers then proceeded to dismantle and burn parts of his house where the boys were found. Commander of D Division Edmund Cooper divulged that the suspect was arrested and taken to the Wales police station, while the minors were taken to a hospital for medical attention. Villagers said that they learned of the case after a missing teen's parents went in search of him. The parents eventually went to the man's shack yesterday morning and called for their son. After they got no response, they reportedly decided to break open the door and found the man with their son and 3 others in the house. Residents suspected that the man was preying on minors, however, they had no proof. Cooper indicated that as soon as they have completed taking statements from the suspected victims, they will be seeking requisite legal advice. Any type of child abuse is horrific, but child molestation is one of the most damaging types of child abuse anyone can suffer. If you know of any child that is suffering from any form of abuse or child molestation, please contact the Child Care and Protection Agency on telephone number 227-0979. Headline News, Bibi Bacchus.
Thanks, Bibi. On Friday, a taxi driver faced the Providence Magistrates Court charged with narcotics possession. 30-year-old Shaziz Shah of Tamiri Public Road, East Bank, Demerara, denied the charge. According to police, on January 29, 2019, while at his Tamiri East Bank, Demerara home, Shah had in his possession 668 grams of cannabis for the purpose of trafficking. Ranks of CID headquarters found the marijuana in his yard. The defendant's pregnant wife, mother, and father-in-law were also taken into custody and released after the 72-hour detention period. Shaw was granted bail in the sum of $100,000 and will make his next court appearance on March 4th. Additionally, he was ordered to report to the Tamiri police station on a weekly basis until the completion of the matter. Don't go away. Coming up after the break, IRO kicks off Harmony Week, and UN rep calls for government to obey the Constitution. But first, here are today's foreign currency exchange rates. For the latest in news from Guyana, the region, and beyond, visit our website, headlinenewsguyana.com.
What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go. Welcome back. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu recently visited the new site for Radio Essequibo and assured of government's continued support to Pomeroon-Supinam Region 2. Speaking briefly with residents and school children of Cottonfield Essequibo, the Prime Minister explained that the NCN technical team is ready to begin work on the station with expected completion by mid-2019. Potential broadcasters from within the district will be trained by Dr. Rovin Diodat, the coordinator of the government's regional radio project. Through this venture, it has already connected many communities in Upper Takutu, Upper Essequibo Region 9, through the establishment of Radio Letum in May 2016, and in Barimawaini Region 1 with the setting up of Radio Mabaruma in June of 2016. The Office of the Prime Minister commissioned Radio Madia in Pataro Siparuni, Region 8, on October 8, 2017, Radio Bartica in Kayuni Mazaruni, Region 7, on November 17, 2017, Radio Aishalton in Upper Takutu, Upper Essequibo, Region 9, on February 17, 2018, and Radio Oriela, East Berbice Quarantine District, Region 6, on March 25, 2018. The Office of the Prime Minister also recently upgraded Radio Pai Womack. The interreligious organization hosts its annual prayer breakfast in honor of Harmony Week. Esther Sobers was there and filed this report.
The World Interfaith Harmony Week.
Love of the good and love of the neighbor is this year's theme for the interreligious organization. With the collaboration of the government of Guyana, the IRO officially launched United Nations World Interfaith Harmony Week 2019 on Friday. The week began with a prayer breakfast at the National Cultural Center. It had the attendance of the First Lady and several ministers of the government. The various religious groups in Guyana prayed in their respective religion, along with highlighting their reflection on harmony.
Let it be no distinction of high and low, nor a trace of discrimination. We all are one, the same blood flow through our vein, let us flow the path of brotherhood. And there is only one all-pervading reality, and it's nothing else, and which lies within time. Let us respect all teachings and receive knowledge from all scripture.
Rastafari stand today as a symbol of the harmonizing of peoples. using two powerful mediums of the Holy Bible and music. Rastafari has been able to identify and unify all peoples of all nations.
The keynote speaker for Harmony Week was Dr. George Norton, who reiterated that all Guyanese need to play an active role in social cohesion.
The role of the religious community in ensuring that the religious harmony we treasure remains untainted. This administration have funded this opening ceremony and breakfast for the past 4 years, which serves as an indication of the government's commitment to the interreligious community of Guyana. While Guyana stands tall as a model for religious peace, this status should not be taken for granted, as threats for violent extremism and intolerance.
World Interfaith Harmony Week has been funded by the government for the past 10 years. Harmony Week is an initiative to bring together leaders of all faiths in dialogue, working together in unity for the greater good of the nation. For Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Staying on this morning's prayer breakfast, the fallout of the no confidence motion continues as the United Nations resident coordinator to Guyana joins the call for the coalition government to follow the law. Here's Wendell Jeffrey with more.
Peace is identified as one of 5 areas of critical importance for humanity and the planet, along with people, prosperity, the planet, and partnerships.
Today, Ambassador Makiko Tanaka, the United Nations resident coordinator, addressed the attendance at the annual World Interfaith Week state-sponsored breakfast. At the yearly event, the UN rep usually reads prepared speeches from the United Nations General Secretary. However, today the UN representative went a bit further as she directly addressed the current political impasse in Guyana. She first reminded the audience of the Sustainable Development Goals number 16 and 17.
Of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 16 is to promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels.
Sustainable Development Goal number 16 speaks to justice, human rights, the rule of law, and good governance. It also speaks to transparency and accountability in government. And given those realities, Makiko Tanaka read the entire goal to those gathered.
SDG 16 recognizes that building peaceful, just, and inclusive societies that provide equal access to justice and that are based on respect for human rights, including the right to development, requires effective rule of law and good governance at all levels.
The ambassador then went on to speak to the political quandary that has gripped Guyana for the last 6 weeks, emphasizing the need in Guyana for good governance and the respect for the law.
Recent political developments triggered by the no-confidence vote at the National Assembly are a test for Guyana's strength and integrity with regards to the effectiveness of the rule of law and good governance.
In a clear shot across the bow of the Granger administration, Tanika directly addressed the Chief Justice's Roxanne George's yesterday's ruling, noting that it demonstrated the separation of powers and the respect for the rule of law.
Yesterday's delivery of the decisions by the Chief Justice demonstrated the independence and integrity of the judiciary in protecting the Constitution and upholding the rule of law.
Before she made her most salient point, the UN rep also reminded the attendants that the ruling of the Speaker, Dr. Barton Scotland, shows that the Parliament, too, is independent.
The Honourable Speaker's earlier validation of the process and result of the controversial voting at the National Assembly were a testimony to the integrity of the legislative arm of the state.
The UN ambassador then addressed her remarks directly to the current government.
It is hoped that the third arm of the state, the executive, will demonstrate its integrity and respect of Guyana's constitution and the judiciary that constitute the foundations of rule of law and good governance.
Among those seated in the audience were government ministers, including Minister with the responsibility for social cohesion, Dr. George Norton, representing the President David Granger, Ms. Sandra Granger, members of the opposition, members of the diplomatic corps, and select secondary school children. For Channel 2 Headline News, Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Don't go away. Coming up after the break. Did police in St. Lucia breach the use of force policy trying to catch a suspect? And multi-million-dollar fentanyl bust made at the U.S.-Mexico border. But before that, here's this week's Bridge Attraction schedule.
Place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go. Welcome back. Now we take a look at news from the region. It is day 3 and police still have not tracked down a suspect they successfully attempted to arrest for a drug possession charge on January the 29th. News Force in St. Lucia can confirm several warning shots were discharged by the arresting officers during the failed pursuit of the suspect. But was the gunfire necessary in their attempt to apprehend the fleeing suspect? Here's more.
Did police officers break the law trying to catch a criminal suspect? On January 29th, amid the bustling midday commute along Peña Street in the capital, police officers fired at least 2 rounds of live ammunition during a failed attempt to rearrest a suspect who gave them the slip while en route to a nearby police station. As of January 31st, the suspect, initially picked up for drug possession, remains at large. Was the potentially lethal warning shots fired by the arresting police officers necessary, and did their action violate the use of force policy? News Force put the question to Security Minister Senator Herman Gill Francis, himself a former high-ranking police officer.
Now, some rounds were discharged in the capital, in a public place.
Again, I wouldn't want to discuss this now. This is something that you have to speak to the commissioner about.
But as the legislator, the policymaker, would you say that there were infringements on the use of force policy?
At the end of the day, the commissioner will be the one to be able to tell you whether there was any infringement or not.
The use of force policy offers broad guidelines for police officers to apply reasonable force, which includes the conduct of the subject being confronted, whether the subject poses an imminent threat to the safety of law enforcement officers or other persons, taking into account the subject's age, size, skill level, and strength, the mental capacity, whether the subject is resisting or attempting to evade arrest, whether the situation is tense, uncertain, or rapidly evolving, and the seriousness of the crimes at issue, among others. News Force can confirm the suspect, who managed to escape the officer's custody, was retreating before the gunshots rang out. The police force to date has not provided comment on the incident. Rihani Isidore, HTS News Force.
And in international news, U.S. border agents say they have made a record fentanyl bust at the border with Mexico. Customs officers seized 114 kilograms of the synthetic drug hidden in a tractor trailer trying to cross into Arizona. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds reports.
U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents in Arizona announced their biggest ever seizure of fentanyl. 114 kilos of the powerful drug was discovered in a large truck carrying produce from Mexico on Saturday.
So this truck was carrying 10 packages of fentanyl pills. It was carrying about 100 packages of fentanyl and I believe 395 or 300, over 300 packages of methamphetamines.
Officials say the drugs had a street value of $3.5 million. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid many times more powerful than heroin. It is estimated that fentanyl overdoses caused 18,000 deaths in the U.S. in the year 2016 alone. Much of the fentanyl smuggled into the U.S. is made in China. President Donald Trump on Thursday said he's seeking China's help in choking off the supply.
We're certainly talking about theft. We're talking about every aspect of trade with a country, and we're talking about fentanyl, too.
U.S. officials arrested the truck driver and say they will work to break up the smuggling network. President Trump has often cited the smuggling of illegal drugs from Mexico, including fentanyl, as a reason for building a border wall. However, as in the case of the Arizona drug seizure, officials say most drugs are transported into the U.S. through legal ports of entry, not through remote areas where the president says a wall is needed. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
Here's your 3-day weather forecast. And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, headlinenewsguyana.com. You can also tune in 6:30 Sunday morning for a rebroadcast and Monday evening at 7 for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast, saying thank you for welcoming us into your home and do have a blessed evening.